What is going on? We're back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Rivalry Week. Now, if you guys don't know what Rivalry Week is, basically this upcoming weekend, this is from Friday, May 16th to Sunday, May 18th. We have a rivalry week where all 30 teams are going to be playing their biggest rivals across the whole league. So for example, Chicago, New York, and LA, those three cities have two teams, so those teams will play each other. And it's basically their biggest rivals across the whole inter-squad play. And a couple of the matchups are also based on location, because not every team has like a big rival, right? So a couple of the matchups are based on location as well. But I think they did a really good job with this, and we're definitely going to cover some of these matchups. Before we cover some of the best matchups, I just want to show you guys all the matchups. So on screen right now, you guys will see all the matchups that we have. So you guys can obviously see the Battle of Chicago, we got the Battle of Ohio, then we have the Battle of Pennsylvania, then we kind of got the Battle of like DC, I guess you can call it, with Washington and Baltimore. The Battle of New York is also in there. For example, the Tigers versus the Blue Jays is a location one. Atlanta versus Boston is all based on history. We have the Battle of Florida, the Battle of the Midwest, the Battle of Texas. And we have two more matchups kind of based on location with the Twins versus the Brewers and the Rockies versus the Diamondbacks. And then we have the Vector Cup, which we'll talk about in a minute, the Battle of LA, and then the Battle of the Bay. So those are all the matchups this weekend. And I think the top three matchups, it's got to be the Battle of New York is number one. The Mets versus the Yankees, both teams playing extremely well this season. Both are top teams in their respective leagues. And also, it's the first time Juan Soto is going to be back in the Bronx. So I'm expecting him to get booed a lot. I know the Yankee fans will be going crazy in that series in the Bronx. So I think that's going to be a good one. I think both teams are super competitive, and I'm excited to see how this one goes. But I'm definitely excited to watch this whole Battle of New York situation. I think the second best matchup is the Battle of Texas. I think this is probably the best one. You know, with the Houston Astros, with the Texas Rangers going at it. These teams have history in the past. We've seen the arguments. We've seen the benches clear. We've seen these squads in the postseason. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. As we talked about the Vector Cup, I think this is an interesting series between the Seattle Mariners and the San Diego Padres. Basically, what this is these two teams are going to be playing a 3-game series this weekend. And then there's a 4-game series down the line in Seattle. And then the winner of those 7 games get this little trophy called the Vector Cup, I think. Or it's pronounced something like that. And basically, I'm pretty sure it's from this singer. I think he's lived in Seattle and San Diego for most of his life. So like that's kind of where they created this cup. And I think it's a decent rivalry. I think these two teams are pretty good for this rivalry. So I definitely like this cup kind of format that they got. So I think that's really cool. I like the Battle of the Bay a lot. I think those teams are going to be really competitive between the A's and Giants. Obviously, Skeens is going to pitch against the Philadelphia Phillies on Sunday, which will be very exciting to see how he fares against that team. There's just a lot of good matchups that I'm excited to watch over this next weekend. And obviously, there's going to be a ton of storylines. I hope the games get scrappy. I hope we see some trash talk. You know, we might see some benches clear. I think that would be pretty cool to see. But it's going to be a fun weekend to watch all these games, and I'm very excited. There's a couple ones, you know, that might not be the best. Like, for example, I think the Twins Brewers one, you know, not really the best. But, you know, there's not really a whole lot you can do with those two teams, in my opinion, because some of their other teams that you consider rivals have other matchups that they're going to play. Another one I think that's not going to be really interesting is the Rockies versus the Diamondbacks, just because the Rockies are so bad and the Diamondbacks are such a good squad this season. But besides for a couple of those games, I think all the matchups are going to be really fun to watch in the different parts of the country. And I definitely expect to see the viewership numbers absolutely break. Yeah, I think you will see the highest viewership numbers on this whole weekend across the whole MLB. But give my thoughts on this event. I love this event. I think it's a great idea to do. I also love that it's in the month of May. But I think for May, it is the perfect opportunity to do this because there's no big event in this month. Because I kind of look at the MLB season where you got the whole opening day, beginning of the season hype in March, April, nothing in May. And then we have some of the specialty games in June, like I said, with Field of Dreams, London, right? All those different type of games, the Little League World Series sometimes. I kind of forget which one that's in June or July, I'm going to be totally honest. But June is usually where you see some of the first big events. Then we get to July, which is going to be the All-Star break. Then we get to, you know, after the All-Star break into August, we get the trade deadline news, all the big trades going on. And then August, September, basically push for the postseason. So May is the perfect time to put an event in because we currently have nothing. So that's why I really like this event and I'm a big fan of it. And there's going to be some good matchups. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the rivalry week. What's your guys' thoughts on this event? Do you guys like this event? Do you guys hate this event? Let me know in the comment section down below. And then which series are you guys going to be watching? Because there's going to be a lot of good series. For me personally, I think the Texas one is probably the most interesting one just because the teams have a history. But obviously the New York one's going to be great. Obviously, if you're a fan of a certain team, you're obviously probably going to watch their games, right? But there's just so many good matchups to watch. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.